Okay, Blue Lock 297 just dropped, and you know how it is, we're just gonna get straight into it. So we open with a back shot of Nagi. Damn, this boy's got no cake, man. And he's having an inner monologue about Reo. Oh my god. This kid is so gay. He's talking about Reo. You've lost your fire for me. What? What is he talking about? Like, you've lost your fire for me. Like, people were making fun of Reo in the third selection for talking crazy. Like, are you seeing what Nagi is saying right now? Like, but you still give someone like me a new dream. This kid is smitten, bro. Like, I don't know what you guys want me to say. Like, and Reo, he's spinning the ball on his fucking finger. He's looking nonchalant as shit. He's talking about go get 2 points, Prodigy. He does not give a fuck. He's saying we're the heroes. And Nagi's thinking, he's like, until recently, you'd freak out when things got bad, and without me, you couldn't do anything. You know, which is true. Reo has had his fair share of pathetic moments. And then Nagi's asking, how'd you go and get so damn cool? Even though you're actually a little scared. I get it, Reo. And he's talking about some okay boss, 95% chance he said that in English. Reo's talking about this let's go Prodigy. And Nagi's thinking, I'll fire you up. Pause? Maybe? I don't know. And he's saying to do that now, I'll get fired up too. And then we're back to Asagi's side. And look, okay, don't get me wrong. I love Asagi. He's like easily my favorite character in the entire series. But like, I think we've like followed him just geeking out over this match for like 3 chapters straight now. And obviously, like, you know, there's been in-betweens of the Munchen match, but I still just find it really funny. I'm not complaining. I just think it's really funny. Asagi's talking about even this ecstatic experience might have its own formula. When I think back, I had clear objectives like someone I want to beat or something I want to surpass. And then I found within myself the logic to make it come true. Finally, I became a machine built to carry that out. And we see all his rivals he's had before. You know, this is a really interesting selection of his rivals, because we have Nico from, I guess, the Team Y game, or Ubers, either Ubers or Team Y, but it doesn't make sense for Ubers, because then right after we have Baro, and then after Baro we have what I can only imagine is Aiku. I don't know, the face shape is similar to Snuffy's, but the hair isn't, so it's gotta be Aiku. I don't know what Kaneshiro was thinking by putting these rivals specifically. No Rin? I mean, he just beat him, but hey, it's whatever. It's his story, not mine. And Asagi's thinking about winning according to calculations and how that's so exciting for him. But wait, now that I've done that repeatedly and leveled up, I understand. Whenever I win or produce results, my experience and abilities increase, and I get better at soccer. Yes, it's called soccer. It's not football. I swear to God, if one of you stupid fucks try telling me it's football, I'm actually like, my skills become more reproducible, but I can't reproduce that fire. And you know, this fire, I think it's an interesting motif, because obviously Asagi's talking about it now, but Nagi was also just talking about it, how he needs to understand what it means to be fired up. So I think fire is definitely the motif of this chapter. I'm surprised the title didn't have much to do with fire. Back then, and then, what I felt was exclusive to me in that moment. Technique and logic are only methods to make this stuff come true. All of it starts with the fire I feel inside myself. And oh my god, like, bro, can we look at this panel? Like, this is gorgeous. Like, we're getting the puzzle pieces of him having his awakening moments. This is good stuff. And him celebrating and being depressed. Like, oh my god, this is just so beautiful. And then we cut back to Ego, and he's saying they'll now proceed with the rest of the rankings and the salary auction. And Asagi's still thinking about his own shit. He's thinking about dreams, objectives, rivals to defeat, the ones who seize and use that fire to survive. But then we get a little zoom out, and we see the top 3 and 4. And, you know, I want to talk with Kaneshiro. I really want to know what the fuck Shido is doing to earn that number 3 spot over Baro, who is now number 4. Okay, don't get me wrong. In the Ubers match, Baro didn't put in the absolute best performance for his standards. Like, he did not get a hat trick, but he's done a lot. In Shido, he's had a goal in the PXG match, but I don't know. I don't think his presence was really felt outside of that. So, don't get me wrong. Shido's a cool character, but number 3, and especially over Baro, number 4, I don't know if I completely buy into that, but you know, it's not the end of the world. It's not a choice I hate by any means. It's just something I'm not entirely sure I agree with. But hey, you know, maybe you guys got some knowledge you could spit on me as to why Shido actually deserves it. If so, leave it in the comments. But Shido, he got his offer from PXG, which is interesting, which means he's gonna stay with Charles, and they had some really good chemistry, so I could really see that duo becoming something special. I'm more intrigued as to how that'll contrast the Shido Sai dynamic they had in U20. And as for Baro, he's of course staying with the Ubers. I feel like Baro is kind of tied to Ubers now simply because of how plot relevant that club is to his character, especially with how Snuffy wanted him to become like the new leader of it and all. Like, that was just really well written, and then I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, him being in Ubers is definitely the right choice. But Asagi is still talking about, and the ones who misjudge the fire will fall by the wayside, and this is their battlefield. This is Blue Lock. Holy title drop. And you know, title drop's not even rare in this series. They do it quite often, so I'm not even that surprised. But now we cut back to the munchen match. Nagi's passing to Reo. He's thinking about if they score another point, it's all over, and he's just thinking about a goal. Need a goal, need a goal, need a goal. And he's asking, where does Reo want to pass to? And Reo's hitting that little finesse shot, and then he hits a sick pass to Nagi, and Nagi's thinking, I want to be the Nagi Reo wants me to be? What? And he's thinking Reo. Like, I'm sorry, like, you cannot tell me there's not something more going on here. Like, what is this? This is worse than last chapter. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is Jesus Christ. I have never seen the Blue Lock boy love analogy be more true than it is right now. Oh, but Nagi's got the ball in his head and he's talking about, yes, I got through, but do I shoot it? He's singing, no, I'm a little too far. What do I do? If I was Reo. Someone, I swear to God, someone get this fuck off my screen! What is he doing? Grown-ass man. This is a full adult. This is a man in his 30s. Okay, maybe 20s. No, he's definitely in his 30s. In his 30s, talking about some raw, bro. I can't even say it. I can't, bro. Someone kill him. Kill Levino. Hashtag kill Levino. He's talking about soccer ain't about passing, you know. And Reo's, he's jaw dropped. Nagi's struggling. He's like, crap, if he steals it. And then Chris Prince, another fraud, another cringe ass line, but way less cringe than Levino and also way less of a fraud than Levino, so I'll take it. He's saying to the future as he blocks off Levino and takes the ball. And he's saying it's not over yet, Munchen City. And Nagi's calling him master. Chris Prince is saying, okay, striker. And he's weaving through Levino. And Nagi's talking about, what? He ignored me. And Chris Prince is talking, I won't give a future to egotists who don't chase their ideals. Yeah, some real Nagi shade right now. But you know, I can't even blame him. Nagi's kind of slipping up right now. Literally and figuratively. Transcend reality, Blue Lockers. Reo's surprised. He's talking about Chris. And then Chris is shouting at him, you score, Reo Mikage. I want to see your future. And Reo's eyes are lighting up. He's getting that aura to him. And then Reo's bobbing and weaving through Otoya. And Otoya, he's shocked. You know, Otoya, you might have had some aura last chapter, but this chapter is very much reminding us while you have about 2 seconds of screen time throughout this entire series. He's talking about, whoa, that's my move from earlier. And he instantly copied it. Oh my god. And I feel like Nagi has only been talking about Reo this chapter. He's saying, Reo, you already really can live. Jesus Christ, this is what I'm talking about. This is the Blue Lock spread I want. This is the art I want. Like, oh my god, Reo's the one bringing this quality back. I love to see it. I always knew Reo was goated. Nagi's saying you really can live all on your own. And Reo gets a sick ass goal. And he hits that pose. Otoya is shocked. Yeah, sit the fuck down, Otoya. Like, we do not need you anymore. I really meant it. Like, nobody knows who the fuck you are. And Chris Prince is saying, yes, that's it, a golazo. And apparently that's the time up for Masters. You know, that's the quickest 3 minutes we've ever had in the series, especially with the PXG match. And Reo's huffing and puffing. He's apologizing. He's apologizing for scoring his goal. Like, that's how tight-knit these two are. Like, you cannot tell me there's nothing happening here. And Nagi's talking about, hey, that's okay. That's all good. You get fired up, Reo. If that's your answer, you follow that shit. And Reo, he's like, what? And Nagi's thinking is like, I think I've been way too reliant on you. I believe just like a kid that you'd always be there for me. And then he's apologizing. He's saying, sorry, Reo. Sorry I'm such a pain. Now I'll show you that I can get fired up on my own too. And now we're seeing Nagi get some aura. So now I'm thinking like, wait a minute, is Nagi gonna clutch up? Hey, who knows? But that was chapter 297, To the Future. And you know, I'll say this out of the gate. I enjoyed this chapter a lot more than the last two. I did enjoy 296 and 295, but both great chapters. But this is really just showing me that Blue Lock that I've been wanting to see since the PXG match. We're actually getting some really good character moments from both Reo and Nagi. And Reo is actually putting in work, which is what I've wanted to see for a while from him. And Nagi is actually going through an arc that's pretty interesting to see and sort of unpredictable. You know, I think it is easy to say that Nagi is gonna clutch up and he's gonna score that final goal, but you know, I could very easily see that not being the case and his comeback needing to be saved for another time. Because let's be real, after this, assuming Nagi doesn't score a goal, he's still gonna be in the top 23. There's no way he isn't. He's already proved his skill enough that he's gonna be in the World Cup team. So he doesn't necessarily need to prove himself here in order to stay in Blue Lock. Like, he's gonna stay. And Reo, he's all but assured his position in the World Cup team as well with this goal. So while a comeback for Nagi in this match is possible, I don't think it's entirely necessary, and I think it would be a lot more interesting if he didn't have one. We are just gonna have to wait and see what happens there, but hey, I think it's an exciting possibility, and it also builds upon what I said in the last chapter review. Go watch that if you haven't, where I said that Reo very well could have a higher ranking than Nagi, and the more I see of the series, the more I think it could be true. The last thing I want to go back to is Asagi, because, you know, we're still getting focus of Asagi, which is actually kind of nice. In the third selection match, when we were focusing on that Nagi and Reo thing, we weren't really cutting back to Asagi at all, but I guess there wasn't really a reason to, but this feels like a good balance. Like, now that we're switching from Munchen to Asagi, and now that the match is actually getting pretty exciting, it feels like we're getting a really well-rounded chapter that has a lot of good focus on both sides, and that's another reason why I'm liking it more than these previous couple chapters. But that fire Asagi was talking about, that fire that he can't reproduce, and the techniques and methods he uses are only stuff that he can use because he feels that fire within himself that drives him, that's essentially the driving force of his entire character. Like, you know, it's a very funny joke to be like, oh, Asagi, you know, he has 2 loving parents, no sad backstory, to still go this crazy over soccer or football. It's soccer, it's soccer. This is unironically why he's like that. Because he's saying it right here. It all starts with that fire he feels inside himself. That's what drives him so hard to have moments like this. And him actually acknowledging that is profound to me. Because I know this is going to go over so many people's heads, and they're still going to ride the, oh, no sad backstory, 2 loving parents. So they're going to think Asagi's like a dull character, which, you know, I really don't know how anyone who reads this manga can genuinely think that. That's fucking insane to me. But this is really the root of it all. That fire within him, that's what makes him like this. And he understands it's something that is very dangerous to toy around with, because there are people who can misjudge that fire, and that's how they end up on the sidelines. So he's talking about how dreams, objectives, and rivals to defeat, these are all just methods and techniques to mold the fire. He ends up by saying this is the essence of Blue Lock. So honestly, he doesn't go that deep into it, but there definitely is a lot more to it than he's letting on here. So I am curious as to whether Kaneshiro is going to expand on this. I feel like he has to later on, but it is very cool to just see Asagi talk about it. Oh, and then very last thing, Shido Baro. I still feel like that's sort of wrong. I know I already talked about it, but argue with me in the comments about it. I don't know. I just don't really see how Shido is more valuable than Baro. But yeah, that'll do it for 297. I want to say short chapter review, but I'm looking at the recording now. Holy fuck, this raw recording is 18 minutes. I'm definitely gonna have to cut this down a bit. But let me know what you thought. If you had any comments, if you agreed with the rankings, disagreed with the rankings, how you're liking Nagi and Reo's character progression, what you're thinking of Asagi's fire, and hey, if you got any predictions, which are probably wrong because you don't know how to analyze the story for shit like me, let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.